Thanks to those joining me live and to those that will be joining me on archive. D-Style Boxing here. Hit the like button, support the channel. If you're listening on archive, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Next week's Q&A, we'll go over your comments first. All right. Gonna go over some comments really quick, and then I'll hit the chat a little bit. So let's do it. Not much from last week on archive, although the chat was real active. But on archive, Hulk Hogan, what's up, brother? Said Horn is fucked by Terrence Crawford by KO, so he thinks Crawford will knock out Jeff Horn. And somebody put a watch has the best chin in boxing, right? Now let's move on. A video, just really quick. The Joshua Takam post-fight video that I did got several comments there. For those that didn't check it out, from Colton W. To me, this Takam fight was to set up Joshua versus Parker. Takam went the distance with Parker, so familiar opponent there. Parker calling out Joshua. That will be next. So, okay, let's say Joshua fights Parker. What does Wilder do? All right, another bum. This dude has a damn near 40 fights and nobody on his resume. He never remotely tried to fight Vladimir when he was the champ. In the words of Nigel Benn, I think he's a whole lot of mouth. Oh, he's here we go. Strong comment there by Colton. I think Wilder is posturing even when Tyson Fury was in the game. He still he crashed Wilder's yet another bum defense. Yet there was no talks of him and Fury fighting. They were trying to make Fury Vladimir too. Where was Wilder then? Why didn't Wilder take on this guy Parker? WBC could gladly grant Wilder to fight a title holder just as long as he defends after beating that title holder. He has no interest in Parker. To me, and one title holder says he's not ready to fight the other. And said he's fighting Stiverne again. Don't be surprised if Wilder becomes a diva once Joshua team approach him to fight. Well, I guess we will see. He continues. Was able to get some shots in because he rammed Joshua in the nose. Talking about Takam's headbutt. Once Joshua recovered from the headbutt, he proceeded to pick him off again. I think boxing refs are especially careful now because of the heavyweight boxer death a couple of years ago. Which is understandable to me. I believe that was the if it's the one I'm thinking about, it wasn't a death, but he was paralyzed, and now he can't speak and stuff like that. But let's continue. I think boxing refs are especially careful now because of the heavyweight boxer death a couple years ago, which is understandable to me. If guys in the hole that many rounds and still getting picked off, I got no problem with the refs stepping in. If a guy has won 3 or 4 rounds and has made it a respectable match, Guinness let it go, but that wasn't the case here. Joshua wasn't under any pressure. The guy was just too small. Was round 10, and it was round 10, and Joshua had lots of heat on his shot, so I don't think it matters really. They'll probably do a Parker fight next. All right, so there's just some comments I wanted to go over there. Let's go ahead and bring up the chat here really quick. By the way, I can't believe what I'm watching in this football game. I just can't believe it. I like the Buffalo Bills. I actually got the onside kick, but it doesn't matter anymore. It's irrelevant now. So the hell with them, all right? Terrible game against the Jets. Just terrible. Outside of a miracle finish here, all right? Pop out this chat here. Bear with me, guys. Apologize for the wait. Hulk Hogan saying win. Hulk Hogan doesn't remember what Hulk Hogan said? You for real, bro? Come on now. Hulk Hogan's confused right now. Hulk Hogan is confused. All right. Hold on now. We're going to do it this way here. All right, there we go. What's up, AJ10? What's going on, bro? Hulk Hogan said win. Because Joe Fortnite says Hulk Hogan said. In the last Q&A, you left a message on archive, Hulk Hogan. Are you that, you know, you don't, I think Hulk Hogan's getting old. I think he's getting up there in age, just a tad. All right. Um, anyway, we got a couple of things to cover here. This weekend, both the UFC and boxing have some fights coming. So there you go. By the way, for those watching, make sure you thumbs up the video, support the channel, right? Share the video, right? AJ10 has Wilder by UD. I actually believe Wilder will knock him out this time. I think it's going to be a knockout, right? I also believe that Bisping is going to beat George St. Pierre, so we agree there. I think so. We'll talk about those two. Let's first talk Wilder versus Stiverne, right? I'm not the biggest fan of this Stiverne Wilder fight, all right? I'm just not the biggest fan of it. I don't think the fight's necessary. Stiverne hasn't really done anything to show that he deserves another shot. The fight is just in the way, but I will say this: let's just get it the hell out of the damn way. Now, Don King obviously has a lot to do with this. This is Don King's last stand right here. This is Don King's last stand. So Don King is trying to, just keep it together, I guess you can say. Hulk Hogan said he's 203 years old. We don't even know Don King, speaking of old, is going to make it till Saturday night. I mean, holy shit. That dude's old. All right. That dude was past middle age, like freaking promoting Thriller in Manila and shit. Oh, no, Rumble in the Jungle, I'm sorry. So he's up there in age. He's definitely up there in age. But I do believe Wilder will win this time. I think Wilder will win. I believe he should win, obviously, but I believe he will win by knockout. In fact, if Deontay Wilder does not knock out, all right, if he fails to knock out Stiverne, it's going to be a bad look for Wilder. I will say that. Okay. He needs to, if might as well make a statement, might as well get I want to see a devastating knockout. Okay. Deontay Wilder, you see, this is what a lot of people get mistaken here, okay? Because of a lot of the drama going on with this whole AJ Wilder thing, right? People have it confused, right? I am not a big Deontay Wilder supporter. The DStyleBoxing is not a big Deontay Wilder supporter. I'm not, right? I'm just not. So I just want to make that clear. Now, I don't have anything against him or anything like that. I do agree with the sentiments that he has a lot to prove. My only thing is that the Povetkin fight should have happened, right? The fight, it didn't happen, but it wasn't his fault. The Ortiz fight should have happened. It didn't happen, but that wasn't his fault. This fight is a mandatory. That's just not his fault, right? He couldn't get, the date was already set for the Ortiz fight. They put Stiverne in there, so we'll see who he fights after this. But I definitely want to see Wilder, most definitely. I am in a camp that I want to see him step up, but I don't agree with that he hasn't tried. He has tried, right? But that's just what I want to see, man. Okay, but Deontay Wilder has to win, right? For his fans, for people that believe in him, for people that have put their neck out for him, he needs to perform here. Okay, he needs to win in dominating fashion, and that's that. I mean, that's what Wilder has to do, right? There is no ands, ifs, buts. There's absolutely nothing like that. Okay. But again, I'm not going out on a limb picking Wilder in this fight, right? I mean, nobody's going out on a limb. Now, a fight I'll love to see, this is just me. After this fight, I honestly want to see Stiverne versus Takam. just to see what happens. You know, like is Takam that much better than Stiverne? Well, let's find out. Let's just make the fight happen. You know, by the looks of it, it looks like Takam's better, but I mean, let's see him fight. Just a random fight, you know. So there you go. Hulk Hogan says Wilder wants to kill him, brother. Well, Hulk. That's what he says. I want to see Wilder go in, dominate him, knock him out in a couple of rounds. Just dominate him, knock him out, make short work of him. Prove to everybody you're at a whole nother level, that he's not in your level, right? And then proceed to, call out the big dogs. Let's get some of these big fights done. That's what I want to see, all right? AJ10 has Wilder by KO, 8th round. Well, there you go. Joe, 40 ounce. What do you think Wilder versus Joshua will happen? When do I believe it will happen? Man, of course, AJ10 put I got 2019. Hulk Hogan put 2018. AJ10, to me, outside of Wilder and Joshua, many of the heavyweights are at the same level, right? Well, that's why we got to have them fight each other, so we could start separating, the levels. But to me, this is me, in my opinion. I think Joshua is on top of the pool. I think Joshua's on top. And then after Joshua, there is Wilder and Parker. And then there's everybody else. Okay, that's kind of the way I see it. All right, but, top dog Joshua is, if he does fight Parker, man, I'll tell you what, man, if Fury comes back, it's going to throw a monkey wrench into this whole thing. It could be good or bad, depending on how you see it. So if Fury comes back, right, and let's say, Joshua's team feels like, okay, we got to make this Wilder fight happen. But then Fury comes back, you can't really fault him for fighting Fury instead of Wilder. Like, right? You just can't fault him for that. But then again, that's a great fight. Right? Fury Wilder is a great fight. But where I believe it would be good is that if you could work things better, things can work out better with 4 than with 3. Okay, it could just work out better. So what I mean by that is right now you have Joshua, right? You got Wilder, and you got, Parker, right? You got those 3 guys, all undefeated title holders. This is big, right? If Fury comes back, that's the lineal champ. That's the man that beat the man. That is, by historical context, that is the heavyweight champion. Like, that's what he is, okay? But if that happens, you could work it out better with 4. Because let's say Fury does fight Joshua, because it's a big fight in the UK, then that means that Wilder can fight Parker. And he could have a unification match. And the winners of those 2 fights can fight each other. Ideally, that would work out. Okay, ideally. So you could get a big mega fight in England, you get a big unification fight, and even if you can go about them anyways. Let's say Fury comes back. Let's say Joshua Wilder does happen. Let's say that fight does happen. Let's say Fury comes back and he fights Parker, right? Then the winners fight each other. You can have Fury fight Wilder, and then Joshua can unify with Parker, and then the winners could fight each other, right? It works out better with a 4 than with 3. It really does, all right? It honestly does. But me right now, after this fight, I mean, it's going to be this Saturday. So if now I know anything could happen in boxing, yada, 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 but 95% chance that Wilder wins this fight, okay? There's a very, very good chance that he wins that fight. So if perchance that were to happen, well, we have to analyze, you know, we have to. If Wilder wins, what is his next move? You know, getting this Stiverne fight out of the way. There's no real reason to fight a mandatory right now. All right, and so there you go. Okay, now of course mandatories can get in the way and blah 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 blah. But again, this is why it works better with 4 than with 3. Right? It's if we could get these fights done, Fury doesn't have any belts physically with him. Okay, so we don't have to worry about mandatories with him. He could pick out of the 3 champions to fight. That's if he comes back, right? This hypothetical, I know I'm stretching like Mr. Fantastic right now from the Avengers, or not the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, right? I know I'm stretching, but reaching. I'm sorry. I know I'm reaching, but ideally, I would like to see that. But to answer the question, 2019 sounds about the time that Wilder Josh was going to happen, and so we'll see. Knock on wood. Anybody's got any wood around here? Knock on it. Hulk Hogan, you seen Thor tomorrow? I believe that's a question. Missing a question mark at the end. No, I'm not watching Thor tomorrow. I'm not really big on superhero movies. All right? Not really big on superhero movies, bro. 88-10. I think Fury is coming back. Well, you're very optimistic. You're very optimistic. You just never know with Fury. You just never know with that guy. He just has bigger issues than boxing right now. And hopefully he works it all out, because if he were to come back, that would be great. It would be a good monkey wrench thrown into the division, in my opinion. AJ10, I see Joshua fighting Parker and Fury before Wilder. Now, by that, do you mean like he will fight them first, or he's going to fight Wilder to the very end? So, and there's no guarantee, by the way, assuming Fury comes back 100%, assuming he's at least 90% of what he used to be, Fury could beat any one of those 3 guys, all right? Now, they could beat him too, but any one of them, he could beat any one of them, right? I think the weakest link is Parker. That's my opinion, right? But, hey, they got to fight the fights, regardless. All right, so AJ10, we need a Ortiz versus Povetkin matchup, non-VADA. So no drug testing done, right? Let them use whatever they want, right? Just go at it. Just there you go. Well, I know Ortiz said, he's sick and he's taking blood pressure medicine, so I don't know. Mejia says, what's up, D-Style? What's up, bro? AJ10, what happens first, Joshua versus Wilder, or the Andre Ward comeback you predicted? Oh, wow. Does anybody remember what date I predicted? I even have a $100 bet out there, but I forgot what date I said. Did I say 2 years? I forgot what I said, but I think Ward comes back first, probably. I think Ward comes back first. But we'll see. I don't know. What happens first? I answered that. Joe Lopez, 40 ounce. Fury has a lot of weight to lose if he comes back. Yeah, Fury, he's got a lot of weight to lose. The good news is when you're that big, like the first 50, 60 pounds comes out fast, you'll lose those quick. So it's going to be those last 20, 30 pounds. And those are going to be the tough ones for him to lose, right? Now, Fury was never this chiseled dude. I think I saw him chiseled like twice, like before the Hay fight and before in the Klitschko fight, he was in great shape, but that's about it. I don't think we'll ever see him in that type of shape again. It might take Fury a good 6-7 months just to lose the majority of that weight. And then in a good training camp, he could lose the remaining 20, 30 pounds. But it's, I don't even know what the right move for Fury is. Does he come back, have a tune-up? Does he come back and just fight one of the top dogs right off the bat? I mean, I don't know. All right, I just don't know. What's up, Blood? Hulk Hogan says Andre Ward taking the Hulkster's vitamins to come back at heavyweight. Yeah, man, these heavyweights are too big, man. I cannot picture Ward in the ring with AJ or Wilder or Parker or Fury. I can't envision it. I just can't. Too big. AJ 10, Fury should lose weight. Fight like two bums, then a contender. And that's true. He could actually do that, you know. Lose a good 30, 40 pounds. Looks like he needs it. Get below 300 ASAP. Like he needs to get below 300 ASAP. Fight some bum, right? Have a training camp. Fight a bum. Continue losing weight. Fight another bum. Lose some more weight. You know, just stay busy. Knock out some bums, and in 3-4 fights, you know, he'll be back in shape. I think that's what he should do. Now in the UFC, you got one of probably the biggest fight of the year for the UFC, actually, and there's very little buzz for it. It's unbelievable. Like, this is the return of Georges St. Pierre, Rush Pierre, right? He was considered the pay-per-view king before the UFC, you know, before he retired from the UFC, that is. But he's been gone for a while. The new pay-per-view king for them now is Conor McGregor. But as you guys, they were saying he's going to come back by the end of the year. Guys, it's November 2nd. I haven't heard any fight announced for Conor McGregor yet. I haven't heard anything. So I told people he's not going to fight before this year. Are you crazy? He just made like $100 million fighting Floyd Mayweather. All right? He's not going to fight again. Are you crazy? You think he's going to get in there with one of the top lightweights in the UFC? Nah. You think he's going to get in there and have another war with Nate Diaz? Nah. Not this year. Now, we'll talk about him in a little bit, but real quick. So, Georges St. Pierre and Michael Bisping. Now, the problem here is the fight. Michael Bisping is not a big draw. He just isn't. He's not a big draw. Nobody goes crazy for Michael Bisping. It's not like a thing like, oh yeah, we really got to go watch. We got to watch Michael Bisping, bro. No, nobody really says that. He's considered a weak champion, and the perception is that Georges St. Pierre is coming back to fighting because he's a weak champion. That doesn't help promotion, right? It just doesn't. This fight's going to do around, I would say, in my opinion, about 700,000 buys, which is very good, by the way. But I don't know if it's going to do what the UFC is expecting. It's not going to do that, right? Georges St. Pierre, in my opinion, can very well lose this fight. I think Bisping's a little too big for him. Bisping used to fight at 205. This fight's at 185. Georges St. Pierre was fighting at 170. Right, so he's a big dude, but we'll know very early who's going to win this fight. We'll know very early, right? If Georges St. Pierre is able to easily put Bisping on his back, then it's a wrap. We'll know Georges St. Pierre is going to win. But if Georges St. Pierre has a hard time putting Bisping on his back and he can't hurt him on the stand-up, this could be a long night for Georges St. Pierre, right? So we'll see how it goes, but Bisping by decision. I'm not the most educated MMA guy, but that's what I think will happen. Plus all the ring rust. Georges St. Pierre has not been in a fight for years. The last time he was in a fight, most people felt he lost. So there you go, right? Now, speaking of Conor McGregor, this dude is asking, okay, to be a co-promoter. This is unheard of in the MMA world, guys. Now, this is normal in boxing. This is unheard of, uncharted territory in MMA. He wants to be co-promoter for his next fight in the UFC. Meaning, I'm going to get a big cut. I'm going to get 60% of that revenue. That isn't good news for the UFC. They should never let this guy have gotten that big money fight against Mayweather. Should never let it happen, right? This is what happens. He's going to be a lot tougher to negotiate with. It's going to delay a lot of fights by a couple months, right? And who are they going to have him fight? He's going to dictate who he fights. That's what's going to happen, right? That's what's going to happen. And then other fighters are going to start doing it too. Other fighters, they're going to start demanding the same thing. It's going to be a long couple years for Dana White. That's if Dana White even lasts. I've been hearing rumblings that Dana White's job is in peril, right? So, all right, AJ10 says, I don't feel a lot of buzz for the UFC. I personally don't know a Michael Bisping fan, says AJ10. I don't know one either. Maybe they're out there in England or something. AJ10. I think it does 600,000 buys, 600,000 to 700,000. Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel. Hulk Hogan, I'm expecting a check for using the Hulkster's legendary promo on your last video, brother. Right? Well, I'll send a check to the Hulkster's bank account. Right? When the Hulkster gives me his bank account number. Right? AT10. The Ali Act will change UFC if it applies to MMA. If the Ali Act were to apply to MMA, all right, for those that don't understand why Don King lost a lot of his power, Don King lost a lot of his power when the Ali Act was passed, right? He lost a lot of power. Now, because it forbid it, that it made a lot of contracts void, right? Meaning the Ali Act supersedes even a signed contract, okay? If the Ali Act is implemented into MMA, it's a double-edged sword. The fighters will have more rights and all that, but they're going to be tougher negotiation, but a lot of things will happen, guys. It will literally kill the UFC as you know it, okay? Now, notice what I'm saying, the follow-up. When I say we'll kill the UFC, I follow it up with as you know it today, right? Meaning the UFC, meaning rankings, will have to be done by a sanctioning body that is not tied to the UFC, right? Meaning you're not going to be able to rank guys in the league anymore, like league style, right? You're going to have to rank guys from MMA fighters that are registered MMA fighters from all over the world, right? And an independent sanctioning body will do those rankings for them. The UFC will not have control over that, right? If there will no longer be a UFC belt, a UFC world champion. That's not a thing anymore if the Ali Act passes, because you can't be both a promoter and the sanctioning body. You can't be both a promoter and control the rankings. In boxing, we call that corruption. In the UFC, it's business as normal. It's just a normal thing. Everyone just accepts that Dana White says this guy's number one contender, and that's it, right? It's just the way it is. If Dana White wants to put a dude in the shelf, then he puts him in the shelf, right? It just, they're under his mercy, basically. While he's losing that grasp, I mean, the UFC is losing that grasp, right? Now, it just so happens that since they had so much freedom, they didn't have to pay these fighters a lot of money compared to what they were making, meaning a pay-per-view event would do $10 million in revenue, and their payouts would be about $1 million. So the UFC kept $9 million, and they paid fighters $1 million, right? And this happened for years, right? And they were able to constantly just do this for years, and it was easy to make matchups and stuff like that, and there was no such thing as negotiations. Guys signed a 10-fight contract for a set amount, and they just had them fight. Fighters had to fight whoever they told them to fight, You know, so yeah, it was exciting for a long time. You know, MMA fans got a lot of fights. These fighters weren't getting paid though. And it's only natural for these fighters to start fighting for their rights. It's only natural for an MMA fan or MMA fighter to look at, to ask themselves, hey, like Randy Couture did. Me and Chuck Liddell sold like 500,000 buys in our fight. When Roy Jones fought John Ruiz and sold around the same, those guys made millions. I made 500,000. What's going on here? Right? So you, of course, you're going to look at that and wonder, right? Of course, you're going to look at Manny Pacquiao's purses and Mayweather's purses, De La Hoya's purses. Of course, you're going to look at that. They're going to look at Andre Berto on HBO getting $1 million to fight some bum, right? And they're on a pay-per-view doing 600,000 buys or 1 million buys. It doesn't matter, and they're making 150,000. Of course, you're going to question that. But let me catch up to the chat. All right. Dovakin, what's up, bro? I'm excited for Garbrandt versus Dillashaw more than GSP Bisping. I agree. I think that's going to be a great fight. That's a tough fight to call. I'm picking Dillashaw, right? And I'm going to pick Dillashaw for the most corny reason ever, right? Because he's sparring Lomachenko, who's one of my favorite fighters. So there you go. Okay, so I'm going to go with Dillashaw. All right, Hulk Hogan. Later, brother. Off to watch Thor, brother. All right, later. Davakin, D-Style. Do you support the Ali Act in MMA? Oh, man, we'll get to that. AJ10, I expect a lot more politics in MMA if the Ali Act applies. I agree. Davakin, AJ, more money, more freedom, expect more politics. Davakin continues. More choices, I guess, is a better way of saying it. I'm glad Tony Ferguson is fighting Conor. Tony is no argument the number one contender. He's actually interim champ. But yes, you could say that. Dovackin more deserving than Diaz and Khabib. Is that fight going to happen? What's going on with that? First thing, says AJ, to get rid of Reebok sponsorship. Let the fighters pick their sponsors. Dovackin says, yeah, Reebok fucked the UFC fighters bad. Dovackin, you see the video of Garbrandt dropping Dillashaw? I have not seen that video, actually. But I do wonder if that was sparring, why was that leaked? And that's very, very unethical. But maybe this is why this shit is so personal. Okay? But Boxing says, good point with the Ali Act. All right? So, guys, the Ali Act is a double-edged sword. That's what it is. Right? I'm not going to sit and tell everybody it's all good. Right? Because it's man-made. Everything that's man-made has flaws in it. Everything. Okay? The intentions, you could say, are good, but there's a lot of unintended consequences, okay? Because there's human nature that you don't see in the Ali Act that is implemented. So meaning, yes, more politics will happen. Fighters are going to look after themselves, okay? Some fighters will get greedy. Some will rightfully fight for wanting to make more money. But what is that going to do? That means it's going to be a higher risk per event for the UFC. The UFC was taking very little risk before, right? The fighters took all the risk. They're the ones putting their lives on the line and all that. You know, the fighters were. They're the ones, you know, putting literally their lives on the line in the octagon. The UFC was paying a very small portion of the money to the fighters, and they were making millions in the process. Now, like putting on a Conor McGregor fight 2 years ago was a guaranteed home run for the UFC. Anything after, you know, 500,000 buys, it was nothing but profit for them. Now, the UFC is going to have to sell maybe 1.2 million to break even, and then they'll start making some profit after that. And what they're going to be making at the dollar is not going to be as much as before, because now Conor's going to want to be co-promoter. He's going to want to get paid as a fighter in the card, get his guaranteed money. Okay, he's going to want to get his cut, and then what? Okay, he's going to get his cut and all that. And then he's going to get a percentage because he wants to quote promote. All of a sudden, you're hitting a round where you could sell a lot of buys and still lose money. Like Showtime and HBO lost money. They lost money, guys, in Lennox Lewis versus Tyson. Even though the fight did like 1.7 million or something like that in buys, this was back in 2004, right? They lost money because there was way too many hands in the pot. HBO had their hands in the pot. Showtime had their hands in the pot. So there you go. Dovakin says this is when they train together. There you go. He's talking about the Garbrandt dropping Dillashaw. Bisping is garbage, says Rascalot222. Dovakin, I think Bisping beats GSP. Yeah, man, I have a feeling Bisping's going to win. GSP's washed up, says Rascalot. There you go. GSP is too washed up, says Dovakin. All right, AJ10, I think Bisping... he's picking Bisping too. Holy shit. Rascalot, Bisping trash. Gonna beat a fat car. All right. Well, there you go. Talking shit about GSP. Rascalot, blood boxing returns. UFC been quiet. Yeah, not a lot of hype around the UFC. They've been doing horrible numbers too. 150,000 for one of their last events. That's pretty bad for them. All right. That's pretty bad. Rascal responds to blood boxing because Floyd toyed with Conor and still won. I will say something about Floyd in a moment, but AJ10, Tyson versus Lewis was 2002. Already 15 years ago. Damn. Oh, you're right. You're right. It was 2002. My bad. 2004, I believe I was thinking about Hopkins De La Hoya. My bad. All right. Good call. Rascal 2-2. Fat car was there you go. Was a typo. Well, I get. Is he a big fat car? I thought that was like an insult you were throwing at him or something. The Vacan GSP is probably one of my favorite of all time. And Lyoto Machida needs to retire. Yeah, Lyoto Machida needs to retire. He's giving karate a bad name. What are you doing, Lyoto? Retire, bro. It's a wrap for your ass. All right. Man, I used to do Lyoto Machida videos, you know, but yeah, it's been a rough patch for Lyoto. Ever since Shogun knocked him out in the rematch, it's just been a downslide for him, you know. It was never the same. I remember when John Jones choked him out. That shit was insane. Rashad Evans versus Lyoto Machida 2. The loser needs to retire. That should be the stipulation. All right? If you lose, you retire, and that's it. They got to do that stipulation. But I got Dillashaw by decision. I got Bisping by 4th round TKO. Right? I think they're going to stop it. I think he's going to be pounding on George St. Pierre. I think he's going to get tired. I think the size is going to be too much. I think he's too washed up. I think he's going to get hurt late in the fight. GSP might win like the first 2 rounds. I'll give him that. But and I got Wilder winning by, I'll say, about a 5th round knockout or so, something like that. Rascal 2-2. Marcos Ruas, King of the Streets. Who remembers him? Yeah, I remember that guy. That dude was a fraud. That's what I remember of that guy. All right. Any questions, guys? Shoot me some questions. The Q&A. D-Style, have you heard about Joanna Jedrzejczyk? I don't know. How do you pronounce that shit, bro? Yeah. Isn't she the UFC's women's champ in the low weight, like flyweight or something like that? Do I have that correct? Takam versus Stiverne. I said that earlier. Let's have them fight each other. Let's really gauge those two guys. I wanna see if it's true that Takam is at a whole another level, right? I want to see if that's true. Yeah, I've seen her. She's a really good striker. Really good. Definitely above the level of a lot of these females in the UFC. Joanna about to fuck that pretty girl up. She's the champ at 115. There you go. She might tie Ronda's record. Is she really already there? Holy shit. Bloodboxing returns depending on how Stiverne looks tomorrow. Well, that's true. If Stiverne looks like shit, we just don't need to see that fight. The back end for title defense, Rascal out to 2. Takam is a bum, but can beat Bermain. Can he beat Stiverne? I don't know. Well, but I agree though. Let's see how he looks first. Easter versus Walters. Who wins? Are you talking about Robert Easter? A lightweight. I don't know. I'll pick Easter right now because I'm not too sure on Walters right now, man. I don't even know what to think about Walters right now. I don't know where he's at, his mind. So there you go. DCB, what's up? By the way, DCB, we're beefing because I said I think Josh is the #1 heavyweight in the world. So we're just FYI, we're beefing, right? So AJ10, who is your prospect of 2017? We're not done with this year yet. I don't know if you guys know about, not that he's a prospect anymore, but Benavidez is a fighter out of Arizona. Good fighter. I think he's someone I'm keeping a close eye on. Okay, Jose Benavidez, or David Benavidez, I'm sorry, and Jose Benavidez, I'm sorry, but he's 25 right now, 25-0, I believe. So keep an eye on him. I don't think he could classify his, as a prospect, but Jose Benavidez, keep an eye on him. What else you guys got? This saw that see Daryl Till and Mike Perry beef. No, I did not. DCB, I think Josh is #1 too. Oh my God, the world's gone upside down. Dovakin, after Till knocked out Donald Cerrone. I don't know, but I seen Mike Perry get knocked out in a boxing fight. I seen that shit. Right? It took me a moment to figure. I was like, "What the fuck are these guys?" I'm just yeah, Mike Perry from the UFC middleweight, right? Till knocked out Cerrone. Man, Mike Perry's got a weak chin, man. So somebody clips him, he's going down. DCB, maybe I need to get in my hands and knees when I say it. I don't know what you need to do. Okay. Jose Dovakin. Okay, AJ10. Didn't Jose get a close decision? I mean, he had him losing. Yeah. Versus Mauricio Herrera. Well, we'll see. But Mauricio Herrera is a tough guy, man. I think he'd beat Danny Garcia, for example. So. But as far as prospects, I don't know, man. A lot of the lower level fighters, like up and comers, haven't really kept up with this year. This is one of the reasons honest to God, I miss Friday Night Fights, right? Friday Night Fights was good for boxing, right? It really was. We don't have to show, the star names all the time on TV, Sometimes it's a good spot for older fighters making comebacks after a loss, um, prospects on the come up, solid contenders, gatekeepers. Friday Night Fights was the shit. I enjoyed Friday Night Fights. A lot of good fights there too, right? But now we don't really get that. So what are you gonna do? The Vakinata boxing MMA related, but your thoughts on Jinder Mahal beats Brock Lesnar? Oh my god, that will not happen. DCB, I would love a Miller versus White fight, but White is feared by everybody except Joshua, right? So nobody wants to fight him. He's just a feared force in nature, right? I mean, right now, Wilder might lose on purpose to Stiverne just to avoid Dillian White. It's true. Sounds like a good fight, though. That sounds like a really good fight. So, back and answer your question. I have not watched none of that shit for a couple weeks. So I'll leave it at that. It's terrible now. It's freaking terrible, bro. Now, I did watch Suppressor. I saw how heated that shit got with Wilder Stavern. That shit was probably more entertaining than the fight's going to be. I don't think the fight's going to last that long, to be honest. AJ10, who rates Dillian White high? I personally don't. Like, I don't, look, I don't think Dillian White is that high either. I just don't. White is trash, says the Slick 93. Like I don't like. I think Ortiz is better than White. Like, do we even know if Severn, like, if White is better than Severn? Like, do we know that? I know everybody. Oh, Severn, he should have fought White. Like, what's so special about White? I just, I guess I don't get it, right? Like, I don't. Oh well. DCB, I like the heavyweight Plowaki who stopped Spilka. I didn't watch that fight. I'll check him out for sure. White or actually originally fought kickboxing and MMA, did he? Didn't what's his name do that too? The guy from Australia. No, he's not from Australia. Is he? Where is he from? Is it Australia? The name escaped me. Who wins, Prime Chris Arreola or Dillian White? I wouldn't be shocked if Arreola beat him, to be honest. Arreola had fucking Vitaly Klitschko backing him, but why wouldn't he fucking back up White? Just saying. He is a heavyweight Brandon Rios, says DCB. I'm just not that impressed with White. Like, I don't. I'm not saying he's a terrible fighter, but when I watch him fight, I don't go, oh my god, now this guy's in the mix. Like, it's not my reaction. You know, I think people just rate him high. Like, just being honest, I think people rate him high because he's under Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn uses him a lot for leverage. Like, it's every time you talk Joshua, it's like somehow Dillian White gets brought up in the conversation. It's like, oh, he wants to fight Joshua now. We got to get to Dillian White first. Like like it's a fucking video game, like Mortal Kombat. All right, like, Mortal Kombat. Before you fight like the top dog. Yeah, I forgot the names in Mortal Kombat. So you guys might have to help me with this. But before you fight the top guy, you have to fight the dude with like the forearms. Like, that's Dillian White. Okay. That Vitaly versus Ariola fight did good numbers on HBO. DCB. White is the best average fighter I've seen in some time. 8-10, way higher numbers than the current fights on HBO. And DCB, his average abilities are are impressive. Joe Lopez 40. Rios and Ariola both undisciplined. Yeah, yeah. Well, Rios in his prime though, at least he got in good shape. Yeah, I will say that. Goro, bro, Goro. Yeah, yeah, that's White. Like White is like Eddie Hearn's Goro. Like you gotta get through White to get to Joshua, right? That's what he is, man. That's what he is. Gotta get ready for it. It's like Diggstown and shit. Yeah. It's like every time I say, "Hey, let's just make this fight happen," like let's have Joshua fight Wilder. Let's just do the fight, right? Every time I say that, I love saying that just because I honestly wouldn't say it as much as I do if it didn't get on people's nerves, you know, like because I know it bothers people, you know, like you know, I just know it bothers them. So when I bring it up, like they get all mad, you know. It's funny. I never seen, but and they get more pissed because like they'll start bringing up like all these names that like Wilder has to fight. Well, he's got to fight White and he's got to fight Ortiz, and you know they'll bring up a whole gauntlet, like you know, like it's all of a sudden like Takam didn't have to fight all those dudes. Right? Talking about like Pulev didn't have to fight all these dudes. You know, like what are you talking about? Like what? But it's just funny. That's why I keep bringing up the fight because it pisses them off. You know. Hey, let's do Wilder versus Joshua. Let's get this fight on. Let's do it for boxing. No, you can't do it. No. Like why not? He's got to fight White. All of a sudden, it becomes like the movie Diggstown all of a sudden. You know, like all of a sudden Wilder has to fight like 6 dudes. You know? Like all of a sudden heavyweight becomes like the 1980s again. And we're just packed with a shitload of fighters. Right? All of a sudden we have like Wilder's fought nothing but bums. Dude, there's only like 3 good fighters in the division right now. What are you talking about? Like Stiverne, you could argue, could be a top 10 fighter. He could. I don't know if he is right now, but he could argue it. It's not out of the realm of, you know. I don't know if you guys seen the movies Dickstown. One of my favorite boxing movies. All right. Average abilities are pretty impressive. That's like saying, oh, yeah, that dude is the world's tallest midget. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that, DCB. But there you go. The Vakinachos notice Ariola's man boobs get bigger and bigger each fight. I mean, soon enough, he's going to be able to use them, you know, for offense. You know, like when a dude tries to get in his chest, come on side to side, it, pa, pa, pa. He might use that shit to his advantage. You're going to have to make him use a sports bra so he doesn't cheat. You know, you could only have 2 weapons in boxing, 2 fists. All right, Ariola, you have to put on he might be the first fighter ever to have to wear a sports bra. There you go. 8-10. Goro had 1 move on Mortal Kombat. Did he? I don't even remember, bro. I don't even remember. DCB. Why is like the ugly chick you approach to build up confidence? The Slick 93. My favorite boxers are the Charlo brothers. I'm a big fan of the Charlo brothers. All right. Representing Texas all day. All right. Let's see. Aloal says blood. AJ10. White equals New York Jets of the heavyweight division. Right? White is like Goro, bro. That's White. Right? I could totally picture like this is the 1990s like video game. It just is, you know, like it's. I just picture like a video game, like Mike Tyson's Punch Out, right? Like that, like AJ's Punch Out, like right with a AJ's glove going through it, and then and then like and then the first guy you fight. Okay, that song's in my head now. But the first guy you fight, who would be the first dude on AJ's Punch Out? Who's the first guy? Who would be the Glass Joe? Like fucking Amir Khan would be the first guy you fight. Right off the bat, Amir Khan is Glass Joe. So like you start with Glass Joe, you know, and then you just work your way up. After you knock out Amir Khan, then you move up and wait, right? And then you fight Chocolatito. Okay, Chocolatito is the second guy you fight, right? And then of course, eventually you just move your way up. Eventually you get to like Povetkin. No, you get to Kovalev, and you get through Kovalev, and then after Kovalev you get to Shabransky. You know, Shabransky's up there, and after you get past Shabransky, you finally reach the heavyweights. You know, you finally reach the heavyweights, and you fight the Chris Ariolas and the Povetkins, but a juiced up Povetkin, right? There is no, right? There is no drug testing in the game. You're gonna have to fight a juiced up Povetkin, and the best part is that in the corners they show Povetkin like injecting himself. So like after every round, Povetkin's like he's got full energy again, like out of nowhere, right? And then of course you got to get to Dillian White, which is not even as good as Povetkin, but they, you know, he's up there because Eddie Hearn has him up there. And finally you get to AJ, and AJ knocks everybody out with one punch, right? He just knocks everybody out. It's just the way it is. Let's see what else we got here. Dista, who you got? Oh, well, first of all, let me make sure I didn't miss any comments. Loma versus Rigo, I got Lomachenko. Winning that fight. The Slick 93. See how Charlo left Lubin shaking like a baby bird. Like a baby bird just got hit with a rock. Like, pow, it just falls to the floor. Anyway. Notice a lot of these usual suspects only talk about the fight when we bring it up. Man, I just love bringing it up. Like it's like the most innocent thing ever is saying, "Hey, let's get the fight going. Let's get this fight going." Like they get so mad. Like it's like, "Oh, how dare you bring up that fight?" It's just they'll bring up like fights that never happened, and they go back to the 1930s, 1960s. Give you examples, like, dude, I just want to see the fight, bro. Right? Yeah, but Lennox Lewis's bone never happened. So what did that fight never happen? You think it's a good thing that the fight didn't happen? Anyway, plus at least in those days, we had many great heavyweights. All fighting each other. The few that didn't happen, it was a travesty, but now we have like 3 good fights we could make that could be epic, and you want to eliminate one right off the bat. Joe Lopez, 40-ounce, Shao Kahn. Shannon Briggs. Hey, you could put Shannon Briggs, man, in that game too, like just yelling, "Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ." Conor McGregor will be the guy with no cardio. Yeah, they could let Conor do like MMA moves too. Briggs. 8-10. You have to include Victor Ortiz, bro. Bro. Hey, bro. Marco Madonna ain't shit, bro. Like, I'll never forget that interview by Victor Ortiz. All right. Briggs, White 2 says blood boxing. AJ10, it's like if the Golden Warriors stole Cleveland fan, you can't play us. You guys have to beat the Knicks first. Get through the Knicks and then talk to me. Oh, man. Joe Lopez, 40 ounce. Adrian Broner would have to be in the game, too. Well, what's he going to do? Like comb his hair? Is that what he's going to do? I'll be a badass Mike Tyson's punch out. They did something like that. By the way, not that I don't play video games really, but look how FIFA, the game FIFA has done wonders for soccer in this country, right? And around the world. The UFC has a new game every year. The WWE has a new fucking video game every year. Where's my boxing video game? Now, I'm not going to play it, but where's the boxing video game that little kids can play with? So that way they want to see the real thing on TV? Where is that? Why don't we have a boxing video game? Where's Fight Night? They haven't done a Fight Night since I first started on YouTube. Years ago. When Blood Boxing was playing Buddha with that game. Like way back when. Anyway, like back, what was that, in 2008? Like holy shit. Oh, shout out to Buddha. I don't know what happened to that guy. Whatever happened to that dude? We need a fight night. We need a fight night. Now I know the answer, but still, right? You know why? Because everybody wants money, right? Boxers are independent contractors, and it's hard. Everybody wants to get paid. You want to put Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. in a video game? You got to pay up, right? You want to put Muhammad Ali in a video game? It costs money. You got to pay his estate, right? Hell, fighters today. If I was a fighter today, I would say put me for free in the video game because it's going to help me, right? But no, they want their cut, right? Too many fighters want their cut, and that's why they don't do a video game, right? That's why they don't do it. Let's see here. Let me catch up with these comments. Let's get a water since he's talking about Calcium Body, says Slick 93. The Mobber, you're going to check out Conor McGregor movie? Cool behind-the-scenes doc about his 4 years from... They already made a movie about Conor McGregor? Are you serious? Joe Lopez, 40-ounce dad, combing his hair gives him power in the game. DCB, I wish boxing would come out with a game. I agree. FIFA is the best-selling sports game. Is it? Probably because it sells worldwide, huh? How does it do in the U.S.? Do you know? Tim, by any chance? Dovakin, I admit WWE video games are more fun than MMA and boxing games. Dovakin, the CAW system in the WWE games are awesome. I don't know what CAW means, but it must be some like video game shit. DCB, I think could be a hit if they made it like 2K. Use Floyd as an example. All right, yeah, they could have Floyd in the cover, and like all these dudes that like to hate and shit, like no, fuck that guy. Like they're gonna be the first ones. They're gonna buy the video game, right? Like that idiot in Taiwan. They're gonna go buy the video game just to like play it and then critique it and talk about how terrible the game is, and they're gonna play it for hours and hours. So just to come out here and say I was playing this game for 5 hours and I was bored. That's what they're going to say. Oh, it's a terrible game because they put Mayweather in the cover. I was playing for 5 hours just to make sure, and I was still bored. Tomorrow I'm going to play for another 5 hours and show you that I'm still bored. Fight night 2 and 3 was the shit. I remember, man. Blood Boxing says LOL. Yep. DCB set up to where you have a career and can buy houses, bikes, and all types of dumb shit. Blood boxing, he's a family guy. Yeah. The Vacanista, would you buy a boxing game that has realistic simulated gameplay with all the boxers, but all the boxers are generic? What do you mean, bro? Would I buy a boxing game that has realistic simulated gameplay, but all the boxers are generic? You mean like it has good gameplay, but they're all the same? I don't know about video games like that, to be honest. So probably the wrong guy to ask. I mean, when it comes to the original Nintendo, like I'm a master, right? Sega Genesis, I'm a beast, right? But anything beyond that, I'm terrible. So DCB also have realistic and have these opportunities because they aren't famous, so they have to make prank videos to increase their popularity. All right. Blood boxing returns. Can you imagine a boxing game where you gotta like you avoid fighting the best and you get rewarded because it's good for business? Like anyway. But I was hyped when Roy Jones beat Jeff Lacey. Yeah, it was hyped. I can't believe you remember the challenge between me and Buddha. Yeah, I remember that shit. Did you guys ever even play that game? Did that even ever happen? Dovakin, CW, creator wrestler. Okay, there you go. I don't know what the hell that means, bro. Come on. Yeah, I'm not a video games guy. All right? The Mobber. Yeah, I went to the premiere last night in Dublin. McGregor was there giving an interview before we all watched the movie. Pretty cool. Well, the Mobber, I'm just surprised like he's got a movie already. Just like it's weird. I don't know. Usually the movies when the guy's like retired and but hey, more power to him. More power to him. Right? The Vakin, I played Super Mario Odyssey. Great game. Generic, I mean made up boxers. Okay, I gotcha. Right? I like winning 11 games. So you mean like just a kind of like Mike Tyson's Punch Out, right? Just a bunch of made up dudes, except for Mike Tyson, of course. Only like 2-on-2. I get what you mean. Sure, why not? Just give them names where we kind of know who they are. Like call them instead of Floyd Mayweather, right? Like you could do like I don't know, like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what you would call. I don't know. I was trying to think of something that rhymes, but I don't know. All right. To make a virtual fighter versus Taken, they need to make a virtual fighter versus Tekken. That says Slick 93. The Mobber McGregor said he would like to fight at least 2 times before July so he can be in top 3 of the Forbes list. He was 24 this year. Well, it's going to be tough because I don't know. He's not going to be able to duplicate what he made in that Mayweather fight. 8-10. The boxing game. You sign Eddie Hearn, you get paid, and create a boogeyman to avoid the big fights. Dealing why? Okay, the Vakin, more or less. Manny Pacquiao will be Bobby Lee. DCB. I mean Ram. Joe Lopez 40 ounce. Lloyd Mayfeather. Okay. Dovakin. Well, can't they just get like their nicknames? Like Pretty Boy? Can they really sue for that? Pac-Man? I mean, the nicknames aren't copyrighted, I don't think. So, Roy Traynether. Oh, man. Dovakin. Japanese people will create the name. Roy Merriweather. Right? Randy Pacquiao. All right. And Japanese people can't pronounce L's. Stay out of that one. Okay, the Slick 93. Mike Bison. Can you imagine? They would get sued. No judge would sit down If there was a class action lawsuit, no judge would sit down and be like, I, I don't think they're ripping you guys off at all. I think not at all. Like, well, what do you mean? Sure, it rhymes with your name. It's insinuating it's you, but it's not you. You know, it's. I don't know. It's that shit. Joey clones. The vacuum. So Freud Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather. The mobber. EA Sports UFC 3 trailer drops tomorrow morning. They only have 3? I thought there would be like at 8 or 9 by now. That's a sport that's had 3 UFC games in the last few years, which has been actually decent. I agree. I wish there was a yearly boxing game. Yeah. EA Sports is overrated, and Dovakin says he's part Japanese. Well, that makes it better. There you go. Right? JSC4, Mike Bison is Balrog's Japanese name in the Street Fighter series. Is it? Holy shit. Matt KG12. Oh, I remember. Yeah, there was a boxer in Street Fighter. Yeah. I never picked him. I always picked Ryu. Ryu was my dude. Matt KG, let's see. Barlog is Tyson. Right. The Mobber. Isn't Bison the Russian dude? I'm confused, bro. The Vakin. I don't want a yearly boxing game. Just look at Call of Duty games. Yearly releases means lower quality. You know, every 3-4 years or so they can do it. The Slick 93. EA Sports fell off after they made a Def Jam fight for NY. Wow. The Vakin. I worked for a video game developer. Age 10, I picked blanks on Street Fighter. Or Blanca, my bad. I put Blanca on Street Fighter. I was like, what? Okay, DCB. What if it was more subtle? Like Floyd Cash Mayweather, Deontay Dynamite Wilder, Sean HBO Porter. All right. JC, they switched names between Bison and Barlog's names because they were afraid to get sued. I think. Probably. Yeah, probably. Danny Quick Garcia. Oh, man. Manny. What's another video game? What are those dudes that Pac-Man eats? What are they called? Ghosts? Or what the hell are they? Stick 93, Adrian. I get less beatings, Broner. I get ass beatings, Broner. Not a big Broner fan here. I'm not a big Broner fan myself, but it really is what it is. Right? But yeah, guys, I want to see another game, man. You know, why not? Wasn't there a fake Madden game in like 2010? Was there? Did they really get away with that shit? The NFL is extremely powerful. Let me plug this shit in, by the way. There we go. With no real teams. So they just had like fake names or whatever. Conundrums 5, Agent Conundrum Broner. J Desi 4. Keith, Singular Time, Thurman. 2K needs to bring back its football game. What was theirs called? Desi 4. Remember Game Day? I used to buy Game Day a lot, way back in the PlayStation days. I actually liked that game, but I don't know if that franchise continued. Okay, Sixto has Fight Night 2. Mayweather was not in the last fight night. I guess there was some like money dispute or whatever. Carcino said that Mayweather wanted to be unbeatable, so that's why they wouldn't put it. But I don't know if that's true. Okay, but there you go. It was a cool back when fights was a big deal, says JZ4. Okay, Final Two when they had light Floyd and featherweight Pacquiao, and you could make them fight. Was Mayweather in that game? They say they can't get the NFL license. Wow, they suck ass. It's slick. It's high risk to release a game when they don't have a license use. NFL teams and players. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Does college football? Does college football have like a big game out there? No, they make money. They don't got to pay the players shit. May was only video game parents fighting that too, all right? Floyd was in fighting that too, bro. Check the rosters. Well, I don't know. Which is the one that had Ali and Tyson in the cover? Was that 3? Because that's the last one I ever played, and Mayweather was not on there. I know, like, I would go, I had in the Xbox, and I would go to the Xbox Live or whatever the hell it was called, and you could download, like, fighters that other people created, and they had, like, you know, Money May, like that people created that looked like Mayweather, but it wasn't really Mayweather. But the fight night announcer would say Money May. I'll say the oil was round 3. Okay, round 4. All right. So round 4 was where De La Hoya was in the cover of round 3. Like, holy shit. They haven't done a fight night in years. God damn. Okay, guys, got any other questions? Más preguntas. How you could ask in Spanish. De La Hoya and Gotti. They had Balboa. Gotti versus Ward. You watch Carlos get laid out right now? Nah, Carlos is fighting right now? The hell? On the real though, fight night game would make a lot of money. Um, I'm not a big video game expert, but it can. They just got to get all the if they could get it on board. If they could get a lot of dudes on board, I mean, who would you put on the cover? Do you put Mayweather? I mean, Mayweather is basically retired, you know. But it would have helped a lot of fighters, man. If they had one every 2-3 years, you could have had Andre Ward on the cover, right? Gennady Golovkin could have been on the cover. Canelo, a lot of guys could have been in the cover, and it would have helped the sport a little bit. So I'm not saying that someone who likes to play video games. I'm saying that someone that sees a potential rise in people liking the sport through video games. It's not a guarantee. Mejia says he got KO'd. Well, Carlos got KO'd. A lot of people just like the game. I get boxing not being popular, but look at FIFA. Plenty of people don't play soccer, play FIFA. Yeah, but FIFA has helped in the popularity somewhat in soccer. AJ10, if DStyle was a boxer, what would your walkout music be? And who would you pick as a trainer? Huh. Nacho Bernstein would be my trainer, and I would walk out to mariachi music. Come on, bro. All day. I would walk out to No Me Sé Rajar by Vicente Fernandez. There's before you put Joshua. Well, you could actually do a thing where you put Joshua in the UK cover and Manny Pacquiao in the in the cover in Asia, and you could put Mayweather in the cover in the U.S. Canelo in the cover in Mexico. You could have multiple covers, so they could work that out. Put Mayweather, it will sell in the U.S. for sure, and in most places in the world. I agree. The vacuum was below market expectations. Fight Night Champions did not do that well. Now, did it do below expectations or just didn't do well? Because what were they expecting? JWC4, yeah, GG would have probably been on the cover. Fight Night Champions was trash as DCB. DCB, you know how much Floyd asked for when EA asked him? Tell us, Stevekin. JWC4, Conor McGregor can be DLC. All right? Explain, bro. I'm DLC. Right, Devakin, soccer is a way global sport than boxing. Okay, the Slick, the Fight Night Champions game mode sucked ass, but the gameplay was I know a lot of people in high school that played Fight Night games and didn't know a lick about boxing. Devakin, Floyd would never agree to Fight Night unless he got money that EA Sports doesn't have. Devakin, also giving Mayweather money would mean less money on developing the game. Well, I don't have they asked again. I mean, at this point, will Mayweather really care? You know, boxing fan, Jesus Soto Carlos just got stopped. DStyle thoughts. His last fight, apparently, he just got stopped. No, I didn't know what. I did not see it actually. Damn, he got knocked up. Damn, Carlos got his ass kicked. He needs to retire. What the hell? I didn't even know there was a fight tonight. J Desi 4, downloadable content. It's like stuff you used to unlock with cheat codes back in the day. Except now you have to pay for it and download it. All right. Soto Caras. See if I can pull that shit up really quick. And I'm not going to share it on the screen, but nothing's uploaded on YouTube yet that I see. Yeah, I don't see anything yet, so no live reaction from DStyle, but apparently Soto Caras got knocked out. All right, guys, 7 more minutes and I'm out of here, so shoot me some questions. Having Canelo in the next fight night is more important than having Floyd, in your opinion, Devakin. JWC4, anyway, check out Thor Ragnarok. Maybe if you go by Golden Boy's Twitter page, it might be there, the replay. So it's promoted by Golden Boy. Golden Boy Promotions. Email promotions. All right, let's see. Yeah, I see that. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, man, he's getting stomped. Juan Abregu. And they even announced that it'll be his final fight. Agent 10, top 3 boxing movies. Wow. Huh. In no particular order. Raging Bull, the first Rocky, and Creed, actually. I really like Creed. Creed beat the F out of Rocky in the first fight. Yeah, he knocked him down like 7 times. And Mickey was arguing that Balboa won. I mean, I'm watching this knockout. He needs to retire, man. Soda Carlos is done. It's a wrap. Yeah, you know what? Hold on. Raging Bull, the original Rocky. I got to remove Creed right now. Believe it or not, I actually like Cinderella Man. I actually like that movie. Right? It's actually a pretty good movie. Not a fan of what Braddock did, right, in the contract with Joe Louis to give him the shot. He was basically taking a piece of his purse for the rest of his career, but that aside, the movie itself is good. Sick 93? Good, bro. Thanks for that. I was not a fan of Southpaw. Did not really like that movie. You know. Did I see the Roberto Duran movie? I have not seen it actually. To this day, and I should probably, you know what? I might watch this movie after I log out right now. DStyleBoxing will watch the Roberto Duran movie. I'm not sure how I feel about Usher, being in the movie playing Sugar Ray Leonard, because I don't like it when they use people we know in movies like that, because you're like, oh, that's Usher, not Sugar Ray Leonard, that's Usher, But The Hurricane, I like that movie a lot. Dickstown, I like Dickstown. I want to give a shout out to all the channels that say they don't like me, but they can't stop watching me and asking me questions, and just stupid shit like that. I also want to, let's see, Hands of Stone was good. All right, there we go. I know there's going to be a novella of Chavez. Let's see how that shit goes. Now, I'm Mexican. So I get addicted to that shit. Novellas. Gotta stay away from those, man. I swear to God. Um, is this still Flomo? No, no. But I swear to God. Um, why can't I read that? What's going on with this? You guys see that? Guys, way over the hill, D-Style. This was the main event. I don't know why this chat is doing that, by the way, guys. I have no idea what's going on there. Novelas. I remember, I think I'm a good grandson. I am. But, I go visit my grandmother about once a week and for a little bit. But I remember there was one time where I went on a Wednesday after work and when I would get there, like one of her novelas would start, and I would usually show up for like 15 minutes. Hey, Grandma, how are you? Blah, 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 right? But I don't know what's going on with this, man. This shit ain't cool. I don't know what the fuck that's about. Yeah, I don't know what's up with the chat, guys. So I'm sorry about that. But yes, I'm gonna. I just got hooked on this novella, and I just kept going back, like like every Wednesday, every day actually, for a while. Like, hey, Grandma, how are you doing? And I would just stay and watch the novella, and and then I didn't know how long these things were, man. Like, I was like, holy shit. Like, how long is this thing? There's an episode every day. It's been going on for 2 months. Like, damn. Like it like, had no end. Still me here. There you go. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. I don't know what's going on with the chat. To be honest with you, I don't know what this is about. I have no idea. I don't know what this is about. Maybe I refresh the page, I guess. There you go. All right. I don't know what that was, but anyway, yeah, like 100 episodes and shit. By the way, if you guys don't mind novelas, check out the Pablo Escobar, El Patrón del Mal. Okay, check the shit out. That's a badass. It's way better than Narcos. Way better. It's not even close. All right. It's way better. The guy actually sounds like Pablo Escobar. Right. And once you get past like the first 10, 15 episodes, man, they start showing all the shit where he's doing all the bombings and assassinations of generals and in Colombia and shit. It's fucking insane. It's thorough, and don't get attached. Okay, do not get attached with any characters. Pablo Escobar will murder them. Okay. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. This is DStyle. I'm out. Thank you guys. Every Thursday, 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Leave a comment in the chat on archive. I will address those next week first. And some of the top comments I get throughout the week, I will review those first in the next live Q&A. This is DStyle. I'm out. Peace out. It's a wrap. Se acabó. Fin. If I knew another language, I would say bye in that language, but I only know 2 languages. It is what it is. I'm out.